The Secret Service is reportedly monitoring Greene due to her alleged involvement in setting up a protest against Donald Trump. The core of the controversy revolves around the delayed release of the Epstein files, despite the Epstein Transparency Act. Let's take a listen at this report from MS Now and see what they're saying.
2026 has started with a lot of controversy for Donald Trump's presidency. He is facing accusations of breaking the law abroad and at home, and a big legal inquiry that has taken up most of our broadcast tonight with that terrible shooting in Minneapolis. Now, I want to turn to lawmakers dialing up pressure on DOJ under Trump for breaking a different law, which is another big story that he might prefer to go away. The DOJ is breaking the Epstein law that Trump signed, the Epstein Transparency Act. They have released a tiny portion of files when they faced the original deadline, which landed in December, exactly 1 month after the humiliating loss that Trump faced when his own party rebuffed him and required him to stop hiding documents and covering up for Epstein for whatever reasons Trump and his policies had done. And now we see lawmakers in both parties saying that it is clear that Trump DOJ is breaking the law, and they're threatening criminal sanctions over that.
Absolutely. And this is exactly what is happening right now. Lawmakers from both parties are criticizing the DOJ under Trump for allegedly breaking the law by not fully releasing these documents, threatening criminal sanctions. Only about 1% of the files have been released, suggesting an ongoing obstruction of justice.
Typically, like with contempt, you might refer that to the DOJ, and then the DOJ never prosecutes itself. And then the problem goes away at the end of the Congress because it's contempt because they're not in compliance with the congressional subpoena, which expires at the end of Congress. This law does not expire at the end of Congress, and so they've got a real problem. The contempt that the Congress refers, they could be in jeopardy of that even after this Congress expires.
Massey is speaking in sort of the legal process there, but the bottom line about the real problem he's mentioning is a reference to that soon enough, and mind you, he's a Republican, he's saying they could be out of office and an ensuing administration could actually hold them in contempt and people could get in trouble.
Yep.
Chuck Schumer says Congress wants that list of government officials that's required and asks what they're hiding. There's also the admission from the DOJ that there's 2 million Epstein documents still under review, with 12,000 documents that reach up to over 100,000 pages released. That would actually mean they've only done 1% of the files that they say exist. Lawmakers turning to external pressure. A bipartisan group wants an audit of this process. Democratic senators also trying to put the heat specifically on Trump's chief of staff, seeking more information because she claimed in a recent interview that she's looked over these files that Trump has named but isn't doing anything awful. Trump's DOJ has said this review could take weeks more. This is after they've had 6 weeks, give or take, and claimed they'd done a review and claimed they had 200 lawyers working on this. Any normal law firm dealing with this type of investigation and request would have completed it by now. So what are they hiding?
Trump was not merely acquainted with Epstein, but was part of a larger cabal with investigations looking into alleged trafficking at Mar-a-Lago. And actually, I have played a video the other day where I showed you guys, Trump had changed his story in relation to his connection with Jeffrey Epstein. The DOJ is trying to portray Trump's association with Epstein as isolated incidents to minimize his involvement.
Robert Garcia yesterday stated that they're looking into the trafficking that was happening at Mar-a-Lago. The mechanics of this are much bigger and the crimes are much deeper. There's so much more to uncover, and it's why Donald Trump is so scared of Marjorie Taylor Greene speaking out and continuing to cause problems, especially when she is organizing more than just action against him, but apparently protest as well. And it's what set Donald Trump sicking the Secret Service on Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I want to get into it. This one's a doozy. White House alerted Secret Service to Marjorie Taylor Greene after Trump's dinner humiliation. The relationship between Donald Trump and one of his most fervent supporters grew so fraught, Secret Service was alerted. Marjorie Taylor Greene, MAGA's top defector, is suspected of setting up the president to be protested at a restaurant Greene suggested he visit, White House aides told Axios. The White House then tipped off the Secret Service about the alleged betrayal. Trump's visit to the popular lobbyist hangout, Joe's Seafood in Washington, D.C. in September was hijacked by activists who shouted, "Free D.C., free Palestine," and "Trump is the Hitler of our time," before they were hauled out.
Now, White House aides reportedly alerted the Secret Service to Marjorie Taylor Greene after suspecting her of orchestrating a protest against Trump at a restaurant in Washington, D.C. This alleged act is seen as a quote-unquote public relation disaster for Trump. Greene vehemently denies the accusation. White House is panicking at the moment and scapegoating. The White House is in a state of panic, quote unquote, due to the unreleased Epstein files and is attempting to, quote unquote, dig up dirt on Greene to scapegoat her and turn MAGA supporters against her. The White House is most concerned about public awareness of Trump's deeper involvement in the Epstein scandal. Guys, subscribe to this channel because we're committed to continue covering these issues, emphasizing on universal human rights, and we will criticize both Trump and any Democrat who does not uphold these values. So subscribe again.